Welcome to the Modern Insurance Agents Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 post a week plan that still gets you leads. Welcome to the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast.
We're your hosts, David and Elle Denning.
What happens when a millennial couple dives headfirst into the insurance world, scales $1 million remote business, and decides to share the journey with the world?
You get the Modern Insurance Agent.
Here, we reveal the messy, magical, and sometimes hilarious realities of building a business and a life you love.
From traveling the globe to building remote teams. Yes, even working remotely on top of a mountain in the Philippines. We're sharing insights, strategies, and plenty of laughs to help agents and entrepreneurs succeed.
Because let's face it, success isn't just about hitting numbers.
It's about designing a life that works for you.
So let's dive in and build something extraordinary together. We hear it all the time. I know I should post more, but I just don't have the time.
And the reality is you don't have to post 3 times a day or even every day. It's more about posting with intention.
In this episode, we're going to walk you through a super simple 3 posts per week strategy that's going to get you visibility, build trust, and turn your Facebook into a lead machine, even if you're busy AF. Look it up if you don't know what that means. So.
Also, if you want to get the show notes and resources that we mention on this podcast, head on over to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast.
Awesome. Let's hop right on in. The real reason you're not posting. Let's be honest. There's 1,000,001 things that we can say, but what's the real reason people aren't posting, Elle?
I don't have time.
We're all busy, guys. So let's talk about it for real, though. We know you're crazy busy. We know the life of an agent is sometimes unpredictable. It can be hectic, especially if you're busy. But how do we make time for the things that make a huge difference? And how can we make that simple and easy and a repeatable process? And I find this not just with social media. This is with anything important that I need to put in place, right?
Yeah. And I think I'm busy is the easiest excuse that's out there for not making progress in your business, not doing the things that we know that we need to be doing. I know that's very difficult to hear because I think anybody that I would ask that is building a business is going to say that they're busy. That's the reality. But there is a difference, and there are agents and there are business owners out there that are making time for this incredibly crucial activity, which is showing up on social media consistently. And so it is rarely time. David, what are some of the other reasons, even though we say that we're busy, and yes, we're not saying that you're not busy and that, time isn't a constraint. It's a constraint for every single person. We're all given that 24 hours in a day. But what are some other underlying things that might be going on when we're kind of using that I'm busy as a crutch?
Yeah. And before we hop in that, I just want to kind of highlight the busy portion again. Like Gary V, big fan or ever. And when we were at a conference a couple of weeks ago or so, Fort Lauderdale, Gary V was one of the speakers there. And the person that was interviewing and talked with him was like, I see you do your own content. I see you behind stage. I see you filming your stuff, putting the stuff out wherever. I'll tell you, there's not probably a busier person in this world than Gary V. And I know he's got a lot of energy, but still, like being able to put things in place is what we take the time and attention and make happen. And we're going to talk about how to make it easier, because I think that's maybe the thing that people think is going to take more time. So we'll make it easier for you so you don't have that excuse. But like Elle said, that's usually not the real underlying reason. Kind of like when a prospect tells you, I'll think about it, or, oh, I can't afford it. Is that really the underlying reason? A lot of times it's not. And that's why we got to find out. So same thing here. So I think one of the big reasons is fear of judgment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. People, let's be honest, like putting yourself out on social media, it's scary to do. And the public speaking is the #1 fear, even like over dying and death, is to get in front of people and speak. And social media is really just an extension of that, because you're putting yourself out there. And I think it's almost scarier on social media because you're not getting that immediate audience feedback as if you were doing public speaking. you're kind of like putting it out there and like waiting to get a response from your audience, which can feel very intimidating to do. I feel intimidated still doing this, and we've been marketing on social media for years, but there's certain things that I'll post or even pretty regularly, just not even anything that significant. I feel like I'll post and I still get that little like, what if nobody likes this?
What if I've got a zit? What if my hair is off, right? Like, I think I at some point was, originally afraid of like public speaking and being on stages, and I don't know that necessarily always translated to social media, because I feel like it's a little bit different because you're not like watching people look at you on that, and maybe it's just because I'm a little bit of a diva anyways, so that like, yeah, I like the attention, so social media is fun for that for me, but in reality I think a lot of that fear of judgment is kind of limiting belief in a lot of ways, especially the organic social and putting stuff out there, and the audiences we build don't get negative reactions really to it unless we're looking for one, unless I'm trying to be controversial, right? But other than that, like really people are supportive because they kind of want people to support them too, and generally it's great. Now, ad comments, totally different story. Don't put me down that. Just another reason to do organic over ads is my self-esteem gets hurt a little bit on those. But off organic, it's fantastic. And I'll find, hey, if I remove these limiting beliefs, I'm gonna get better and better, right? Like, I'll be honest, any sport, anything try new, usually suck at the beginning, right? Like, and I'll look back at some of our videos when we first started. I'm not gonna say they're like terrible, but I mean, they're nowhere near the level of what we've done today, but we do this over and over and get better and better. And every day the fear gets a little bit less. And I think I've seen that in our clients as well. As they put stuff in place, they get more and more confident as they go. So fear of judgment, I get it. And that's something, only way to really work through that is by doing it and realizing, hey, this might be in my head and not actually a real thing. Let me put something out there.
It's usually a lot less scary once you actually start doing it and realize, okay, I can do this. I'm not getting like a ton of negative comments or haters. And that's not to say that you won't get any. And I think that's
haters gonna hate.
I think that's part of the social media journey for sure. But not allowing that to keep you from posting and getting started. And especially, we've talked about this before, like getting your message out there. Like, you're really going to let a fear of some person on social media that likely is, honestly, if they're being hateful in the comments on your post, I wouldn't say they're probably somebody that needs to be in your network or audience anyway.
Block.
So are you going to like open yourself up to that person and listen to that person and let your message ultimately be not as effective and not reach the people that need to hear it because of one or two people that might say something negative? No. I mean, that's not worth it. And especially for the opportunities that social media give us.
I get it if we were selling snow cones and like, oh my gosh, rejection and fear and like, over that. But you're doing something vitally important. You're protecting the most valuable things in people's lives, changing generations of people, protecting legacies, property, health, all these really, really important things. We can't let that hold us back from having that impact on people. I mean, could you imagine like, oh, I didn't really want to talk about, the life insurance or do that post about it because what if someone didn't like it or said no? And then someone was like, man, if I would have seen that, I would have probably reached out and got my mom or someone insured. That's important. I needed to know this and be like, oh, I realize how important this really is. So know your why, and that can help push you past some of that fear. But I'll be honest, in entrepreneurship and building a business, this is a key fear we have to deal with daily and overcome because it's just a part of the growth there. So embrace it and push forward, take action. I usually find is the easiest thing is once I do, it's already done. So, hey, that's half the action, half the battle right there. So, so besides fear of judgment, Elle, what else causes people to not take action besides being busy?
I think this is probably the number one thing, and that comes from lack of clarity on knowing what to post or what to say. It's like staring at the blank screen and seeing the little cursor and just being like, I have no idea even how to get started with this. And So clarifying with a plan, which is what we're going to talk about today, and we're going to boil it down to 3 posts that you can start implementing on your social media this week to give you that action plan so that you know what content is performing and how to talk to your audience in a relatable way, in a non-salesy way, in a way that's not going to be off-putting to them. So tapping into things that are like this type of content, this type of podcast, other people that are putting out great content around organic social media out there, lean into that, educate yourself. And also part of the learning, like David was mentioning, is going to be through doing and seeing what your audience is responding to and running like little mini tests to see what people are reacting to, what's causing them to reach out, what's helping you be memorable with them. And again, you're going to understand more of what to say, how to say it. It's going to become easier the more that you do it.
Yeah, let's use a common metaphor I think a lot of us are familiar with. Maybe not the youngest generation now, is they got ChatGPT and AI, which I wish I had in school. But I think a lot of us are familiar with having to write a book report, right?
Yeah.
And you sit down, you got that Word doc open, wherever, because I did grow up when Word doc existed, right? Before it was only paper. And you're staring like, man, the first line, the first paragraph, the toughest thing to write in the world of like, what do I say? What do I do? But how nice it would be to have people like, oh, just this is exactly what you write or what you're putting here, fill in the blanks. Or, hey, let's look at some really great examples of book reports and just kind of take that same style and move it over. Yeah, it makes it a lot easier, a lot more, oh, I can do this, right? Versus that blank, I don't know what to say. And honestly, I challenge you. I think a lot of people say, I don't do it because I'm not sure what to talk about or say. If you took 5-10 minutes, sit down and actually think about it, and be like, oh, this is actually, I can actually come up with a bunch of stuff to say, right? If I sit down, especially if someone has prompts for you to kind of work off of. So I think that's the biggest thing is, I don't know what I'm saying half the time, right? I'll tell you that. Like I just kind of talk. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, but so that's part of just doing it, right? But no, I think we'll help here as part of some things to make it easier. They can put it in place, and then over time you're like, oh, this is not so bad after all.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think that overthinking and perfection and just that quest for wanting a perfect piece of content keeps people maybe not from like taking that first step of like recording their video, but I think that they get really hung up in actually hitting post for this reason because they want it to be perfect. We've heard of people that just like are in this perpetual recording, have to record over and over and over and over again because they're never getting that perfect take. And the reality is it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be 100% what you want it to be. So we aim for 80% good. If it's 80% good, then it's good enough to put out on social media.
Yeah, and not to put anybody on blast, but yeah, I definitely remember, that wasn't something, I'm happy filming a video, just put it out, right? Like no second thoughts, done, post, over, moving on. I don't even go rewatch a lot of my stuff because it's already done in the past. I'm moving on unless I'm trying to learn something specific from rewatching it. But I remember a client talked to us once, like it was like a 30-second little intro video or something like that he was supposed to be recording. It's like, yeah, it took me 50 takes and 3 hours, but I got this 30-second video done. I'm like, you did this 50 times, right? And it's like, I guarantee by the fourth or fifth time, it was good. You could have posted that, right? And I think that's where we have to realize, like, progress over perfection. We teach this, we preach this. It is so key. If you're going for perfection in entrepreneurship, you're going to have a rough time. There's a reason C students actually usually succeed and do the best at entrepreneurship, where type A and A students have a rough time, because entrepreneurship doesn't reward perfection. It rewards progress and consistency in action. So something to keep in mind. So, and yeah. And what's the last thing, Elle?
Feeling like content has to be educational and not really, like, I guess, seizing the moments that are happening in everyday life around you. There's interesting content happening around you all of the time. And just getting into the habit of documenting your day, showing behind the scenes, taking a quick little selfie once a day. All of these things are good habits to be building, because the best content, especially talking about Facebook specifically, is going to be more that lifestyle content that helps your audience connect with you personally and as a human being. So, documenting your morning routine, your coffee, what's for breakfast, running the kids to school, all of those little things can all be turned into social media posts.
And I was talking to some agents about that today, just talking about some social strategies and stuff there. And I was like, it's not because it's just filler content or it's just, oh, that feels nice to post that. There's strategy behind why you're doing this lifestyle and pieces of life content, right? Helps build know, like, and trust. Also just plays into how the algorithm works in the first place, right? People aren't hopping on social media to go buy insurance. Sorry to burst your bubble, right? And so there's a reason this ties into everything you do. But nice thing for you is, oh, that's just kind of me in my life anyway. It's cool. I'm living life each day. I don't really get a choice. I got to live life each day, right? So let me take pieces of that and and share that on social, and this is going to actually help as I eventually do business content as a part of it too. So so those are a few of the reasons, besides being busy, that we actually see as the breakdown of keeping people from doing that. So we just talked about a few of those things. We'll give you nice steps that you can put in place here. So and that could go from where client, having like we have a client that was posting once every like 2 weeks, and once and when you're spreading it out that far, you're really not having any impact. It's not really doing much. Once again, social rewards consistency versus, once or twice a month of putting something up there. They swapped to doing just 3 times a week with their post and started getting DMs, started getting reach outs, even just a couple of weeks of being a little more consistent with that right there. It's amazing how quick it can work when we're consistent versus, oh, I did a post every 2 weeks and didn't hear anything. I guess social media doesn't work, right? So keep that in mind as well, because as you take action, you find out it's a lot easier and faster than you think.
Or trying to do like multiple posts per day, but setting an inconsistent or unsustainable sort of pattern for yourself. So we see this happen too, where it's like people get excited for social media. They'll start posting a lot. They'll see a little lift from it, but then they won't stick with it and they won't be consistent with it. I cannot stress enough how much the consistency helps and how much the algorithm really does reward it when you are posting regularly. And we're talking about posting 3 times per week, but really trying to shoot for about 5 posts per week is a really good amount of content to, feed Facebook specifically, have enough for it to work with. Because also keep in mind that your content is not just going to be shown the moment that you share it. It's actually going to be, as it performs, it's going to be shared to a wider and wider and wider audience over days, potentially weeks. We've seen this happen even over a course of months or sometimes even years. We have content that we posted years ago that still gets engagement and comments on it.
That's actually my favorite, right? Like, oh, this content is still working for us, right? And that's fantastic, right? And so as part of Elle said, like, now that we know consistency is such a key thing with social and these things as well, like with anything that requires consistency, like the gym, for example, don't rely just on when you feel excited and really passionate about it to put these things in place, because that's going to fade, right? Discipline begins when motivation ends, right? So don't rely just on, I don't feel like I don't feel motivated. Rely on discipline. Hey, I do the things I don't want to do. I don't want to go to the gym often, so it takes discipline to go do that, right? Which I've been last week. So, something I need to go back in place. But that's the same thing with posting, right? Like, let the discipline and building the habit and a time block on your schedule help with when I'm not feeling motivated or like doing it, so you can stay consistent and get the rewards from it. So
putting that reminder on your phone. I use Google Calendar, and I have a repeating task on my calendar to post content 5 days a week. That's a great little reminder for me, and I get to check something off of my list, which also helps me feel good about myself too.
That's always good. I love checking things off list, right? So let's talk about getting a little bit around the strategy and everything there for this 3 post a week plan that you can go implement and just make an easy part of your schedule right here. So, so let's talk about the first kind of post? What's the first example that they can do for the 3 posts a week here?
Of course. Yeah. So post number 1, if you're taking notes, this would be the time to start doing that. Post number 1 is going to be lifestyle relatable content. So this is really going to be your trust building or your rapport building content. As we actually start our clients on social media, we rely heavily on this type of content to reactivate the profile, start getting more visibility and getting more eyeballs on their content, because this content performs really well. Specifically on Facebook, it does really, really well. People are coming to social media to check up with their friends, see what they're up to, and for this lifestyle content. So you want to show your face in these posts. That's another thing that's really important with this. If you're having your morning coffee, have your coffee mug and take a snap of yourself like this. With your coffee mug, smiling, or your big, massive water jug. If you're, hydrating throughout the day, have your massive water bottle, but also get your face in that piece of content as well. Wow, David.
I didn't go to the gym. I told you, I'm getting my workout right here.
Building that habit of taking selfies, I know that it can feel really awkward if you haven't done it before. And it can feel really awkward if you're out and about in public. If you feel self-conscious about taking selfies of yourself in public, start around your house, start in your car while you're parked and not driving. Like if you're picking your kids up from school and you're just like sitting in the carpool line, like those are good places to get started with taking this type of photo. And also including your family into your photography, or your pets or your plants, or whatever, loved ones or things that bring you joy. Thinking about bringing this into your content, because again, this is really where trust is going to be built. And this is where people are going to get to know you as a human being.
I love it. And it's nice to have just a little group of images you can pull and use from that as well, because it's much tougher when I'm doing a post to also go take a post or a picture and stuff then. So think of it almost like a little scavenger hunt of like, oh, let me grab a picture in front of my house, a picture with me with my kids playing a game, a picture of me in front of the car, a picture of me having my coffee in the morning, and cool, now I've got me with a surprise face, me with a smiling face, me with a sad face, and I can use these on different posts and things from there. And it's like, cool, I have a little group of photos. I can easily just grab one of these and use it with my post as a part of it, versus having to figure out that picture when it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night and like, oh, where am I going to get this picture, right? So once again, make things easier, then things get put in place, right? And once again, this lifestyle content plays into so much, because once again, people buy from people, not companies. And this is where this connection happens, this relatability, like Elle said, happens, where, yeah, if I'm doing a piece of content where I'm trying to make dinner, helping with homework while juggling calls that are coming in from clients or whatever, like that's relatable. Like people are busy, they understand this, they understand helping kids, parents would get this, entrepreneurs would get this, and it helps them be like, oh, they get what my struggles are, what my life is like. Hey, I bet they're willing to take the time to understand what I do, or let me pay more attention. They're relatable to my life.
Love it. Post number 2. So post number 1 is going to be that relatable content. Post number 2 is what we call a social proof piece of content. And this would be something like sharing a client story or a testimonial. One of the easiest things that you can do is share how you're helping people. It can be on Facebook, one of those colored background style posts, and it can just say something like, just helped a young family today secure $500,000 in coverage. Like that could be the whole post. Actually just like documenting how you're helping people and sharing that on social media goes a really, really long way in building social proof. Social proof is a concept that marketers use to help people basically look at anything that they're looking at potentially buying online, and helping people make that decision to trust the product through reviews. So like on Amazon, for example, I know it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a new bar of soap. I don't know, a new shampoo, something really basic. I am always going to the reviews. I'm not going to buy something that's got less than 4-star reviews. And that's social proof. So looking at the reviews, looking at what other people are saying, and it's this concept that we want to do what other people are doing, and we want to kind of follow the lead of what other people are using. So if you're posting content about how you're helping clients, how you're helping protect them, maybe you helped them with some savings in their insurance, or you did a coverage review with them. Even sharing, like if you weren't able to actually write a policy for them, maybe what they already had was actually better and you couldn't beat it, I would tell that story on social media. That really shows that you care more about the client than making a commission. So kind of giving the window into what it's like to be like as your client, as well as leaning into that social proof concept. You want to be making sure that you're including this in your 3-post strategy.
I love it. And come back to the Amazon side. I mean, as much shopping you do as on Amazon, all I'm saying is if I became an Amazon delivery driver, it'd probably be a work at home job. I'll just be delivered to our own house all the time. So anyways, with that said, when you're sharing some of these results, testimonials, make sure I'm covering what the true benefit is, what I'm actually helping them. So I see a lot of agents, I saved them blank amount of money on their car insurance or home insurance or life insurance, whatever that is. Like, okay, but tie that into, okay, what does that mean? I saved them $200 a month on their car insurance, which allows them to take their kids out once more a week to a play date or for them to go on a date night with their spouse, right? And so I'm applying this to how this actually helps them and their families. Some people see like, okay, savings is always good, but an extra date night a week with my spouse, that's huge. That'd be awesome, right? And okay, now I see what this agent's truly going to be able to help me with more time with my family, being able to put something in place that I wasn't able to put in place before. So make sure I'm truly covering those reasons behind it too. And another thing that can go in with how I'm helping people is if I also cover why I got into insurance in the first place. So a lot of us have a reason why we've gotten in this industry and why it's important to us, and sharing a little bit of why I do the things I do, and then covering some examples of who you've helped as a part of that. I think that's key to know that we're not just in this for commissions and money. We're in this because we're making an impact and making sure to share that as well. So
love it. Good stuff. Okay, so post number 3 in our 3 posting strategy here is going to be a post that's designed to start conversations. We actually call this strategy a conversation starter, is how we teach our clients about this. But this is content that is specifically designed to kind of pull your interested people out of your audience. We love to use what's called a 2-step process with this, which is essentially like a question that you're asking your audience, but you're asking them something that they can get value from. So like we have one client that did this, that put together a guide to saving on prescription drugs. And he asked he asked his audience, I just put together a guide on how to save on prescription drugs. Who wants it? And so what that does is it's a value add that you're giving to your audience, but you're also pulling out people in your audience that are specifically interested in saving money, or they care about their prescription drugs. They have some level of awareness about that, which was a really great lead-in for him on the Medicare side. He's a Medicare agent. And I think that one post ended up generating over 60 opportunities for him.
Yeah, I think he did over 20 something Medicare enrollments for like somewhere between 8 and 10 grand in commissions off that, all for free, and then has more people commenting on it. So once again, content still continuing to work from you. So I can use that I can use that lead magnet multiple times in different ways as a part of that too. So I love that, being able to give value and generate opportunities for you to have these conversations, appointments, and sales with people as a part of it. So yeah, this could be a tip. This could be, kind of covering a common myth, and what the reality of that is a lot of people have, misconceptions about the insurance industry and how it works or what happens. So that could be something. Could also just be frequently asked questions, right? We get asked usually the same exact questions all the time. So putting together a little guide of answering these questions or a little training going through that could be a huge benefit for people that I can use as a lead magnet or conversation starter.
Yeah. So as you are putting out valuable content, if you are doing videos or any type of educational posts, think about how you can repurpose that content and using this strategy. So like David said, just put a guide together, just put a training together, just put a checklist together, just put a calculator together. If you're helping people with their budgeting, for example, that can be a great resource. Maybe you work with families and you're helping parents with having conversations with their kids and incorporating their kids into money conversations. Just put a guide together for parents on how to bring their kids into money conversations. Who wants it? This is such a powerful tool that helps you open the door to start having conversations with people. So often we see people just like try to send their audience on social media off to like a website, whether that's a blog post or even worse, another social media platform. Like if they're posting on Facebook, they're sharing YouTube links, and the information is good information that they're sharing, but they're killing their engagement and their reach trying to share information this way. Simply just repositioning the way that you're talking about the valuable resource and asking a question to your audience. I have this thing, who wants it? Now you're creating engagement, and now you're opening the door to start having conversations with people that are interested in this thing. So the more that you can shift your focus to having conversations and engagement on social media, the better your strategy is going to be, the more reach your content is going to have, the more the platform is going to reward your strategy overall, because you're not trying to just like send people away from the platform. You're actually trying to keep people on the platform by creating valuable content and content that's meant for engagement and conversations.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on the technical side there, but also like you're shooting yourself in the foot if you were like, just here you go, or like, oh, link off to landing page or website and stuff, because I don't have the opportunity to chat with them. I'm just like, here you go, go click this, download this, right? Once again, I want to talk to people. I want to get into these chats, and that's where appointments and referrals and referral partner relationships and all these things come out of that. So once again, I want to use this to help accomplish that, not just be like, well, if I give people a link to a download, then ultimately that builds some goodwill. Maybe they'll come back to me later, right? Like, no, I'm not making it easy on myself or on them either. Like, and I find a lot of people want to complicate things, because I just had this chat again today with an agent. It's like, oh, I have a great guide, so I'm trying to put together a landing page, and then how do I get them to this landing page to get this guide or whatever? And then I just basically told him this exact 2-step strategy here is like, why try to send them off to a page and go through all this thing? Like, why not just be like, hey, who wants a copy of this, and then get them into Messenger and talk to them there and set appointments? He's like, oh, that's a great idea. Like, I don't even need a landing page or do all these crazy things. Like, I can just make it nice and easy. And I was like, yeah, that's the point, right? Like, the whole reason we send people sites and do all these things is to ultimately just get them to talk to us and meet with us anyways. And I can skip all that stuff. So once again, the concept of reducing friction, or how much work it takes for people to do things, makes it easier for them to come to you and work with you, right? So try to make things easy for people. People will thank you for it.
And the platform's going to reward it too. That's the other thing with this, is that, again, sending people to links off of the platforms don't want to push that. They want to keep people on the platform. The longer that people are on their platform, the more money they're going to make, because they're be able to serve them more ads. So think, if you can just kind of shift your mindset a little bit, like, how can my content keep people on the platform longer? How can I create valuable content that that creates engagement and, again, conversations. And then, like David's saying, it doesn't have to be this complicated process. Then you've got a person right there that's basically raising their hand saying, I'm interested in this specific thing that you're an expert in. Bam. Now we have somebody that we can reach out to and start having that conversation with them.
I mean, could you imagine someone being like, yeah, I'm interested to talk to you about insurance. They're like, cool. Well, go off on this website and look at these things and go here. And then you got to find the link to book a time with me and find that there and then book a time with me versus being like, oh yeah, cool. I can help you with that. Let's talk. Right. You know, it's once again, reduce friction. So cool. Speaking of Elle, how can we make this simple, easy, right? We've talked about a few of these things. How do we make this easy is something you can put in place and add into, even if you're busy, and execute on this.
Yeah. So batching your content is super helpful. By that, I mean, so if you're committed to posting 3 times per week, take 15 to 30 minutes every week to just go ahead and plan out the content for yourself. And what that looks like is I like to just have a Google sheet that I use. And in each column, I have kind of like what the idea is, what the caption is going to be, and then what the photo or video is going to be for that. And I keep my Google sheet, actually link the Google sheet into my Google task on my calendar so that when that reminder comes up for me, I can just click into the task and then it opens directly to my sheet and everything is right there.
I love it. I mean, and if you're like me, sometimes you're just going about life and, oh, that'd be a pretty good little post wherever. But I don't have time to do it right now or grab a picture right now. But if I pick up my phone, just like, okay, hey, here's a quick, or type it, or just even voice note, hey, little quick 5-second idea for the post. That way, when I sit down to do something, like, oh, cool, I already have a few things I can do right here. And so I highly agree with the batching, because like if you are busy, like kids and as an agent and stuff going on throughout the week, like it's hard to sometimes just find that time unless I've got it blocked and very intentional about it. So it's a little bit easier on like Saturday. Cool. I've got 15-30 minutes. Let me just knock this stuff out here. And then I have it ready to go throughout the week versus having to come up with it on the spot in the middle of juggling a whole bunch of things. Right. So definitely batch content will make stuff less stressful, and it'll just, you'll feel like I'm just getting myself in the mood and doing it once versus having to try to do that throughout the week. So
David, can I make a confession?
Yeah.
I don't batch content.
Yeah, I know you don't, but you're also very disciplined, so it works out for you. So the less disciplined you are, do batch content. The more disciplined you are, you'll do your post every single day because that's part of your day, right?
I guess I like writing from a standpoint of kind of like what's happening now. And so when I do use that Google sheet, and I have in the past when I'm planning out content over weeks. But with my my social content, a lot of times I will just go into my ChatGPT because it's so trained now to create content like me. And I'll just drop it a little voice note and I'll say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking about today for a post, something that happened from the day, or maybe just like a random thought that I had. And it'll be very meandering. I'll give it, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking about. And I'll have like 3 or 4 different directions that post could potentially go. And I'll ask it, can you give me 3 angles that would be good for a social media post for today? And then it'll give me 3 options. And from those 3 options, I'll pick the one that I like. And then I'll ask it to create a post for me from there. And usually with that process and with the trained ChatGPT, that sounds like me, it's pretty spot on. I can pretty much just copy and paste just about. I mean, I say a 90%. So it's copy paste. There's a few things that I'll do as far as, emojis and punctuation, that sort of stuff. And then I keep a photo bank. I do practice where I'm pretty much taking selfies pretty regularly of myself, of David. But if I don't have one, then I'll just, in my office or whatever I'm doing, I'll just take a quick selfie of myself. And I post that along with the ChatGPT, output that it's given me, and I'm done. And I can usually do that in about 10 minutes.
She's quick. Well, I mean, and once again, because set up some of the process and the things that make that quick and fast, right? So same thing. I love using Chat GPT to either help me pull from past things I've told it, from stories or examples that I forgot about even by then. And it's like, oh yeah, you'd mentioned the story that fits into this, and here's your post kind of based on that. Like, oh wow, that would have taken me forever to even remember that story, right? And so putting stuff in place definitely helps, but also I use ChatGPT to help me refine stuff too. I like options, right? And I'm not like, just give me a post, cool, that looks good. Like, hey, give me 3 options and variations of this from different angles. I like this one, cool. Now let's refine, the beginning of this, cool. And it helps me just in a quick, easy way work through things. Even if I feel like I'm not firing on all cylinders at the moment, I let it kind of do some of the work for me. Now it's still pulling from knowledge or things I've told it or how I've trained it and stuff there as well. So if you pull up a blank ChatGPT, you're definitely not going to get the same answer, which is once again why we highly, highly recommend. In fact, in the past podcast, we talked about this a lot on starting to learn, use, and leverage AI. Is going to help make things easier. And especially if you feel like you're too busy to do social media, that's going to be something that makes a big difference for you.
I love it. So one thing I do want to mention, so we talked about ChatGPT, but then we also talked about the photo bank. We've mentioned that multiple times. That's going to help you a lot. David and I are Android users. We love
Shock.
Android.
Gasp.
I know.
Come at us, Apple Bros. Come at us. That's right. That's right. I got my green text bubbles. Yeah. Kick me out of your group. Let me see that.
But I love that we both have Google phones, actually. We have Pixels, and it makes it so easy to create these photo banks because we create content together. We have shared folders together. So as we're taking photos, we can easily just add our photos into our shared folders. Our VAs and our marketing people all have access to these folders as well. So it just makes it super easy for us to go from taking photos, uploading those photos pretty much instantaneously. It's just a couple of clicks of a button. And so every single week, our team has new photography, photos, things that they can use for B-roll as well. We also take a lot of video, just little short videos of whatever we're doing. And they incorporate that in video editing and content that they're creating for us. And then for any content that we're doing for ourselves, we have a whole bank of photos that we can pull from.
Love it. Love it, guys. So hopefully a few of these things are going to help make it easier for you to stick and put this stuff in place. And remember, done is better than perfect. So at the end of the day, post it, take action, don't overthink, and just click that post button. That's gonna, once I've kind of finished going through the post, I just click post, done. Don't even think about it. Like, done, it's over. And then I go off and do something else. I don't even think about, I just posted it. Maybe I should delete it. Maybe I should change something. No. Post, move on.
Leave the platform.
Leave. Go have a cup of coffee. Go outside for a second, take a breather, right? But keep on moving on. And once again, this stuff where we talk about life cycles of content. I know we talked about sometimes we have pieces of content still work for us over time, but a lot of content has a short life cycle, right? And so, cool. What I posted today, most people after tomorrow or so, they won't even see it anymore, right? So I'm going to be creating a new piece of content the next day as a part of it. So don't overthink, just do it. And I promise over time, it'll get easier and easier, better and better. But the journey of 1,000 steps starts with a single step. Journey of 1,000 miles start. I messed that up, but you know what I meant, guys. You got it. Someone in the comments write the correct
elephant one bite at a time.
I don't eat elephants, so I don't know what you're talking about, but that's crazy. All right, so with that, let's cover a few common questions, answer a few things for you. Hey, we're just talking about answering frequently asked questions for content, right? You guys can do the same thing yourselves, but what are some common questions we get, Elle?
What is the best time to post?
Now. Immediately, right now is the best time to post. You're like, what time is it right now? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is any time is good to post where you can get it done and out. Time doesn't matter as much to algorithms anymore as it used to. Back in the day, I post 2 a.m, no one's going to see it except for the people that are insomniacs, right? But now doesn't really matter. The platforms will decide when and who to show it to based on the algorithm and who they think is going to like to see it, whether they log on tomorrow or in a day or two, right? So there's no best time to post other than just doing it, right? So whatever works for you, get that post out.
what if I get no likes and I post a piece of content and I don't get any engagement at all?
I post again the next day. I move on, right? So sometimes it's delayed between people seeing stuff. Sometimes a post doesn't hit. Sometimes it does, right? Sometimes we don't know until we just put it out there, right? And it's impossible to like perfectly predict what's going to be amazing or what's not, right? So consistency is what we do. And then, yeah, we'll have winners. We'll have stuff that doesn't perform well. That's fine. But also, engagement's only one metric to even look at. It's crazy how sometimes we come to us, as people come to us and are like, hey, I love you guys. It's fantastic. Been checking stuff out for years, ready to work with you guys. And you're like, I've never seen you anywhere ever. I've never seen you comment, never seen you show up. Oh, I've just been watching stuff and reading stuff. I don't comment. I don't like stuff. I don't, do any of that, but I read it and I watch it. Just think about yourselves, right? How often do you look at a piece of content and not like comment? Probably 99% of the stuff, right? And so it's the same thing here. They're still getting exposed. They're still building that trust rapport with you. They're still getting value out of it. They just might not drop a comment, right? And so don't let that discourage you. People are still going to see that content, right? And it's still going to serve a purpose. So don't let that hold you back. So, Elle, can I reuse posts?
Absolutely. This actually is helpful, especially recycling ideas. We're very big believers in having core drums to your content. So essentially you're beating the same drums over and over and over again. People are like, oh my gosh, are people going to be like worried or scared that I'm posting too much or that they're going to get tired of my content? The reality is like, people have very short attention spans. They don't have very long memories when it comes to social media. And they actually need the frequency and the repetitive nature of hearing the same message over and over and over again. And it actually builds trust when you're very consistent with your messaging, when you're saying the same things and you're not being wishy-washy. They know that they can trust you and you become known for those things. So definitely recycling ideas is a good idea to do. What we talked about with the conversation starter strategy, you only need to build out maybe 3-4 trainings, maybe, or lead magnets, checklists, calculators, whatever it is. And then you should absolutely have those on repeat that you're offering to your audience every single week. You can just rotate through them. So if you do 4 of them, once a week, you're offering one of your 4 ones that you can pull from. We do this all the time with different lead magnets and resources and things that we have when we have really good ones. We'll circle or cycle through those and reuse those over and over again. Make it easy for yourself.
Make it easy. Like if I know my core, like 4 drums, 4 important things I like to cover and that are important and stuff there, then I can essentially put that in ChatGPT and for each drum, hey, ChatGPT, create 10 different variations of ways to talk about this or deliver this value, some that are fun, some that are serious, that sort of stuff. And cool, it came up a whole bunch of stuff, still the same drum, and I can now talk about this, but it's still a little bit different between the different pieces of content, or I come from that angle. And now I have, if I'm doing 3 posts a week, I have like math, a lot of weeks of content right there, right? So make it easy as a part of that. And once again, your audience, not all the same people are hearing it or seeing it each time. So for some of them, it's new. For some of them, it's like, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. And some of that's just reinforcing those points over and over again as a part of that. So, Elle, should I post on weekends?
Yes, if that's a good time for you to post. I mean, that's kind of like the same question of what's the best time to post. It's going to be whenever you can be the most consistent with it. For me, it's usually around 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. That's the best time for me that I can stick with it. And that I'm also like in a good frame of mind to post as well. So if the weekends are a time for you that you maybe feel like it's a good time to post on the weekends. If you're not feeling so good on the weekends and you just want to like mentally not think about social media on the weekends, which I also think can be good for a lot of people. For me, I actually like turn the like timer on my phone. That's the your time on Facebook is what it's called. and I make it so that it's in quiet mode on the weekends. So I will go to post, but I don't do a lot of like interaction on the weekends on social media, because my weekends really is my time to step away from work and recharge and kind of do something a little bit different with my mind so that I can, during the week, show up with my best energy. So that's a personal call. If the weekends are good for you, go for it. If not, that's okay too.
I love it. I mean, and once again, because it's not time sensitive, if you've got the kids to bed, just finished cleaning the kitchen, it's 10, 11, midnight, or whatever, it doesn't matter on social media. I can still go ahead and post, get shown to people the next day. Or if I'm an early riser up at 4 or 5 in the morning, I am not. But if I was, like, I can post then and it's done, right? Can't call people at those times. You can't call people at midnight or 4 in the morning, but I can do social media at that time, right? So once again, if I want to be productive at those times, hey, social media, it's not time sensitive. So go ahead and do it. So Elle, one of the all important questions, do I need to go live too? Do I need to be on video? Do I need to do Facebook Lives?
You don't have to, but it's not going to hurt you.
I mean, it's going to help you. That's what it's going to do. Right? Yeah. So, so video is key. There's really no getting around it. We got to learn it, got to put it in place, and highly encourage getting that skill developed and putting that in place, right? But lives also can serve an important purpose, and also fun to interact with your audience. So definitely something I'd recommend trying to incorporate a little bit into what you do.
I love it. All right. So let's recap the 3-post system here. Post number 1 is lifestyle, relatable, your human content, what, your morning routine or picking the kids up from school, hobbies, interests, that sort of thing. Post number 2 is going to be social proof, showing others that you are working with clients, how you're helping clients. I think we mentioned something like just helped a couple get $500,000 in coverage. It can be as simple as that. And then post number 3 is really going to be what your conversations are going to come from, that conversation starter strategy with the intention of stirring up comments, conversations, and engagements. We really like the 2-step strategy to do this, where you have a helpful resource that you're offering to your audience and asking who wants it.
I love it. So guys, once again, consistency is a part of this. So just commit to the next 2 weeks that I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this, and you will start seeing, people interacting. You'll start seeing people commenting, reaching out. You'll start seeing results from that, and just go ahead and start committing and being consistent with it. So don't commit for 1 day of doing it. It's not going to really do much, right? Commit to 2 weeks of being able to regularly do posting as a part of that and put that in place. And then you'll find probably after the 2 weeks, it's actually not so bad to keep in part of my schedule. Let me keep on keeping that as part of my schedule, guys. So try to commit to that and see what happens, guys.
Awesome. And if you want to get the resources from this podcast, we put together a marketing playbook for you so that you can take these strategies, implement them inside of your social media marketing. Head on over to jumpstartgonow.com/podcast to get all of the resources that we mentioned here.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Modern Insurance Agents Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.